Okie dokie. Let's continue. It's a little weird because I'm sitting on my couch. I mean, it's definitely more comfortable. That's for sure. But weird. Okay, so last time on Higurashi, Rena found out that Rena found out that her dad is being played by Rena, who is basically doing the, marry a rich guy to get his money thing. So Rena overheard her and Teppei, who is Satoko's uncle, talking about that last time. So that's where we were. Okay, so let's continue. Oh, you're talking about Kasai. Oh, shit. Her watchdog? Really? Yeah, he is. Shion tends to do crazy things. So she needs to have someone watch her all the time. I think you're as crazy as Shion. Keiichi cut into the conversation. They ended up making a lot of noise, teasing each other like they always do. Mion made it sound like that man Kasai is some sort of territory boss in Okonomiya. It wouldn't be easy for me to meet him in person. But because she's watchdog, I might be able to find a way. The problem, though, is I don't have any connection to she either. We hang around every once in a while whenever she comes to Hinamizawa, but I never visited her or called her. I have no idea how we can meet. Even if I could meet Kasai, there's no guarantee he'd help me. He seems like the kind of person who doesn't like to gossip about others. He told me about Rena at the coffee house only because she pushed him to. Plus, the situation could go worse very quickly while I waited for a chance to meet him, so any help he might offer could come too late. I remember Kasai told me that as her next step, Rena usually uses her partner to threaten the catch. That would signify the end of her performance. They were going to take all of my father's money. I wasn't feeling a sense of crisis yet, but that time might come very soon. Even as I was at school taking a class peacefully, that man might already be at the house this moment, threatening my father to hand over his bank books. Once I become anxious, I get more and more anxious. I could feel a big pressure on my chest as if the ceiling had collapsed on me. Man, I'm so bored. My life is too peaceful. Keiichi talks to me, yawning. Is that so bad? I'd love to have a peaceful life that'd bore me. I don't. I wish some kind of big event would happen, like aliens coming to attack us or something. I'm not saying I'd like to have like that every week, but at least once every month or so. Oh, and that doesn't include our monthly test. If aliens really did come to destroy the earth and burn all of Hinamizawa, would you be satisfied? Would you? No, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying I want some kind of excitement because I'm bored. He had no idea what I've been going through, of course, so that's why he says that. But I was still irritated by his insensitivity. I couldn't understand why he wouldn't be satisfied with such a peaceful life. He never has to doubt that today and tomorrow will be as fun as yesterday. I was all too aware that boring and peaceful days could be destroyed all of a sudden. I knew that boring and peaceful days could come to an end because your mom wanted to divorce your dad. I knew you could feel like you didn't belong anywhere in your own house because your dad got a new girlfriend. Even so, you had to repeat the same kind of day over and over again. That's why I want to live every day happily in order to be prepared when the world comes to an end. I'm jealous of you, you know? You look so happy all the time. I wish I had that kind of skill. You're jealous of me, huh? How do you do it? How do you live every day not being bored but being happy? If it really is a skill, I'd love to learn how. That's easy. All you need to do is realize. Whoops, just clicked on the wrong spot. Realize what? There's no way he could realize it. And it was probably better if he didn't, because that meant he was truly happy. You just need to realize that your happy days will once come to an end. I hate when people blame other people for their problems when literally you haven't told them anything. He finds out about Satoko's problem and literally kills his uncle for her. What do you think he'd do for you? Oh, crap. Hold on. Coffee spilled a little. The three of us walked home from school like we always did. Mi said goodbye to us at the street corner where she took her separate way home. She walked away waving, but I chased after her. Mi-chan! What? Mi apparently thought she dropped something and looked around to figure out what she dropped. I almost forgot to tell you. I saw she and Kasai yesterday at a coffee house. And I picked something up that Kasai dropped while he was there. Of course, he hadn't dropped anything. I was lying. If I could meet him, I'd just show him whatever, tell him I thought it was his, and apologize for my mistake. Oh, well, thank you then. I'll send it over to him in that case. I'd like to give it back to him in person. Huh? Mi looked surprised. I couldn't blame her. I'd met him only once. It's weird to want to give something back to someone you barely know. Well, that's all right, but why? Oh! He had this cute beard and these cute sunglasses. I'm so crazy about cute things. Oh! Could I fudge my true intentions with my cute mode? I tried it anyway. Mi usually takes words at face value, and indeed she seemed to buy it. Please don't pull out his beard and take it home with you. So, do you think I can beat him? Well, I have no idea if he's busy or not. I'll ask when it comes to Hinamizawa next. I needed to know as soon as possible. Of course, I wasn't going to say I wanted to meet him today, But at least tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
What are you guys doing? It seems like Rena found a new love.
No!
Really? How interesting. I want to hear about it.
I didn't want her to leave it up in the air, so I told her. I think I should give it back to him as soon as possible. I'm sure he's looking for it too.
Why don't you tell them? Why wouldn't you tell your friends? That's what they're there for. If I had friends who actually cared, I would be telling them.
Me said okay twice and walked away waving. I hadn't yet thought about how I was going to ask for help when we met. He seems to be in a higher position than Rena and her partner. If he agreed to help me, it would be very encouraging. But there was a possibility he'd tell me he didn't want to interfere in other people's private matters. He could just say the whole thing was another love triangle between a father, his daughter, and his lover. Bye, Rena.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. I said goodbye to Keiichi and walked home. After Keiichi was gone, everything went quiet and my head became clear. What I needed at that moment was quiet time to think about what I should do from then on. I shouldn't depend on Kasai to solve my problem. He'd most likely decline my request, so I have to think of alternatives. It'd probably be better that I just do that. A love triangle between a father, his daughter, and lover. Those words bother me because I've seen an unhappy triangle like that before. That sort of thing had happened to Satoshi.
What? Oh, Mion probably liked her, and Mion did say she liked him.
Satoshi experienced it last year. He fought for his sister in a triangle with his aunts. It was the same situation as mine. I'm trying to fight to protect my father. Satoshi fought alone. Nobody helped him. All I did for him was give him my sympathy and compassion. I didn't think I could do anything more than that. I felt sorry for him, but I didn't really help him. Irresponsibly, I tried to cheer him up, and I probably told him something that I thought would make him feel better, but hurt him instead. I realized how much I hurt him with my insensitivity because Keiichi just hurt me the same way. I'm going down the same path Satoshi went last year. I feel like I'm experiencing deja vu, an unusual repetition. Would that mean that I'm the one that gets demoned away this year? I should be okay. I wasn't thinking about running away from Hinamizawa. Was I? I wasn't thinking about running away from Hinamizawa, but I thought about running away from my home many times. That's why I made this place I could escape to in the garbage dump. The dump happened to be in Hinamizawa, but what if it wasn't? Running there would be the same as running from Wei. No, I shouldn't think like that. Oyashiro will get mad at me. Oyashiro is really scary. I saw flickering lights in my head. Oh no. Every time I try to remember that time, my mind stops working. I remembered the vivid color of my psychoactive drugs. The flickering lights and clouds started spreading in my head. They were so bright and annoying. Don't try too hard to remember. Don't try too hard to remember. No. I couldn't stop the flickering lights. I couldn't have that feeling. I had to fill my heart with another feeling. There was no time for these crazy flickering lights in my head. I had to think about what I should do with Kasai. I had to protect my father from Rena and that bad man. Wait, why was I still calling her that? Rena is Rena. Rena. She's a bad person who deceived my father and tried to bring us unhappiness. Bad people bring things into this world without even doing anything. They're different from the other 90% of people who aren't bad.
90%? Really? You are an optimistic girl.
If you let them loose, they'll even ruin the people around them. When you have one bad tangerine in a box, it spreads its fungus to the other tangerines around it. That's what bad people are like. I couldn't remember how Satoshi resolved his triangle last year, but I could still see the flickering lights in my head. They're still flickering. They're still flickering. They're still flickering.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on at that moment, so I'm not entirely sure how to act it.
Just as the swirl of flickering lights was making me dizzy, I saw my house. I also saw Rena's scooter parked by the side of the gate. The moment I saw the bike, the flickering lights disappeared and I regained control of myself. Rena spent the night last night. She told me she had to work today in the evening, so she should be leaving soon, but I didn't want to be around her, even for the little while until she left. I said, "I'm home!" real loud, rushed into the house, pretended my friends were waiting outside, and rushed out. But Rena stopped me. "Hey, Rena-chan, you're home." Hello. That was the first time I thought Rena's smile was ugly. It only stood to reason. I had realized the scheme she was hiding behind the smile. "Your father and I went to Kokoro for lunch today. There's a restaurant there that makes delicious Indian curry." My father poked his head out of the living room and he says, "I want to go again next time we go. I really like that curry." I wondered if he went the next time with me and her. Anyways, I hate it when Rena says your father. "We brought you some curry home from the restaurant. Try it later. It's really good." "Have you heard of the restaurant, Rena-chan?" I did know the restaurant she was talking about. I saw it in a magazine. It's a new restaurant that opened recently. I also remembered it was expensive. The amount of money they spent on take-home curry alone must have been enough to cover the cost of all our dinners for several nights. Since I was aware what was in the bank books, it was hard for me to stay calm. "I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Rena." "Rena-chan, your father and I would like to talk about something with you." "I'm sorry, but my friends are waiting, so I have to go." "Aw, we're going treasure hunting at the garbage dump." You really like treasure hunting, huh? I'd like to go there sometime. Well, I gotta go. Bye. Every time Rena moved her arms or head, the scent of her perfume stuck to my nostrils. I hate the smell of her perfume, so I couldn't stay there any longer. I rushed out of the house and started running to get away from her perfume. The rubber band inside me, the one called Rena, was stretched all the way to its limits. I'm pretty sure I'd explode and go crazy if the rubber band broke. I didn't want to feel like that inside my own house. My house was supposed to be the place where I could open my heart freely. I ran away. I ran away from there. I ran farther and farther away because it was no longer a place I belonged. It's not that I had a destination. I was just running. I was running to escape a place I didn't belong. Or to a place where I did belong. Didn't I decide to fight against that woman? Didn't I decide to fight against her, either by myself or with my father? But then, once I saw her fake smile, a chill ran up my back. It was like I picked up a stone, found a carpet of bugs underneath it, and put it back on the ground in a hurry. I rushed out of the house as fast as I could. Did I want to fight? Or did I want to run? Was I just choosing to spend a peaceful time at my hideout, believing that tomorrow would be the same as today? I couldn't do that. I didn't know when they'd swing their trap. I couldn't afford to waste any time. I knew that deep down. I knew that, but I just wanted to run. I couldn't stop myself from running away, and so I did. At times like this, the mattress in my hideout would feel so soft that I knew. The cries of the higurashi were soothing to the ears. They sounded as soft as my mattress. They were like music. They didn't force any feelings upon me. They cried as if to tell me just to be who I am. It was always so quiet here that I immediately noticed the purr of an engine coming closer. People used to come here and make a lot of noise during the dam conflict. But now, nobody really comes here. This place is forgotten. So it's rare to see someone come here at all. I sat on the roof of an abandoned car and waited for the intruder to go away without looking their way. Is it, the camera guy? But the purr of the engine stopped. I'm not stupid. If it stopped, I knew exactly who it had to be. I heard the person calling me, but I ignored it at once. Oh, it's Rena, probably. The person came closer, making it harder for me to ignore her, and she called my name again. I turned around this time. Rena. Rena, are you hard of hearing? I'm sorry, I guess I couldn't hear you because of the wind. She seemed to buy my poor excuse. She smiled and said, yeah, it happens sometimes. Are you here alone? Where's your friend? I'm playing here alone. Well, it's rare for a girl your age to play alone. Rena stretched and looked across the huge garbage dump. I can't believe people throw so much scrap out here. Did you know? There used to be a place near Hirosaka where people threw tons of abandoned cars without wheels. I wasn't interested in her old story, but I pretended to listen and nodded. She doesn't take this road to go back to Okonomiya. I guess she knew I'd be here and came by to see me. What did she want? It was obvious she was just trying to make conversation. She probably took it personally when I avoided her earlier, which might be why she was here to butter me up. It would be better for her to not have conflict with the daughter of the man she's seeing, no matter what the intention is. In that sense, it was a reasonable action for her to take. While I listened to her old story, all I could think about was when she was going to leave. Did I have to fight against her? Didn't I decide to fight against her? Didn't I find out her plot at the coffee house in Okonomiya? Didn't I find out this woman is squeezing money out of my father when I looked inside his cash box? I know who you are. Leave him alone. How easy it would be if those 2 sentences could solve this problem. She'd probably deny it. Even if I told her about what I heard at the coffee house, I have no evidence. If she said she did it because the vulgar man was threatening, there would be nothing I could do. But I know this woman is a bad person. I know something horrible will happen in the near future if I waste my time like this. A strange, tense feeling started coming over me. But I didn't know how to let it out. As the feeling started running high, I became unable to stand the smell of her perfume. I wanted to put a certain distance between me and her, so I climbed down the slope of the scrap heap. I kept going down and down the slopes of the garbage dump. When I turned around, I saw her coming down as well, muttering. Was she following me? In order to run away from her, I started running down the slope all the way to the bottom, went around behind some piles of trash, and arrived in front of my hideout. My escape was meaningless. Not only was she going to catch up with me, all I did was let her know where my hideout was, and nobody was supposed to know that. I wanted to make sure she never saw my precious hideout. I was about to leave, but then she appeared. Wow! This is cool. It's like a secret base. This is my secret hideout. Nobody comes here and nobody can hear us. I felt strange hearing myself say that. So, this is your secret hideout, huh? I'm honored to be invited here. She must have thought I told her my secret because it's worth sharing. She looked happy. She found the station wagon, looked inside of it through the window, and went all ooh, not excitedly. This is a secret place that nobody else knows. I felt like my conscience was separating from my body, like I was floating. But it didn't feel good. Like when I drank amazake. It was more like being carsick. I felt like I was going to throw up. My brain was probably secreting some chemical in order to avoid facing the reality that I have to stay with this woman, that I couldn't run from her. But even if my brain tried to avoid recognizing it, the reality in front of me wouldn't change. Rena-chan? Yes? What's wrong? Are you feeling okay? I'm fine. I inhaled fresh air and pulled my consciousness back to reality. I didn't feel like throwing up anymore, but I still felt off balance. I leaned onto a scrap of garbage to keep my balance. I like you, Rena. Do you like me? What are you talking about all of a sudden? I said this because I didn't want to say I like her. I've been seeing your father for quite a long time now, and we've been talking about many things, you know. Is she gonna kill her? I needed to stop feeling like this. Get up, Rena! I heard something like this before. A part of me was trying to understand what this woman was trying to say, but another part of me was trying not to. I felt as if her words were bouncing around in my head, and I started having a headache. We had a serious talk about our future the other day. You know, about our life together, so on. What? You like Uncle Akihito, don't you, Rena? So your father and I are. What's going on? Mother? What are you thinking about, Rena Ryugu? This is an important moment. You're about to have a one-on-one battle with Rena. No, Mom. What about my dad? What about me? I don't want you to divorce him. I don't want you to get remarried to anybody else. No, please don't divorce him. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you get remarried. I'm not going to let you marry my father. What? I don't care if you go out with him, but I'm not going to let you get married to him. She must not have thought I'd say it straight out like that. She looked stunned. After a while, she broke the silence with her laughter. I thought you might reject me, but I didn't think you'd say it straight out like that. You thought I might reject you? I'm surprised you even noticed that I was doing it. Of course I did. You always ran whenever you saw me. You thought I didn't know? That's why I hate kids. She frowned, revealing her ugly self. It should have been the first time I saw a face like this, but I wasn't surprised at all. Her face had looked like that to me from the beginning. I wanted to get along with you if I could, at least on the surface, but I guess it's hard to do now since you hate me so much. What do you hate? I'd like to know for future reference. Everything. I hate everything about you. I hate your smell, too. One vicious word came out of my mouth after another. I didn't have wings, but I felt as if I was flying up to the sky. I felt weird and uncomfortable, but also exhilarated. It felt as if I was letting another human use my body. I was in the middle of a disastrous battlefield, but it felt like it wasn't even my business. That's just fine with me. I'm trying really hard to get comfortable because I hate you too. I guess we're even. You little fucking brat. You better shut your fucking mouth or I'll make you. Never come to my house again. I'll never let you get married to my father. I don't need your permission, you know. Well, why don't you try and stop your father from remarrying? Let's see what happens. I think you're wasting your time, though. She didn't look intimidated by me at all, and that made me feel a little intimidated in return. Why was she so confident about her absolute control over my father? She'd have to have more than confidence to be able to act as fearless as this. She must have something tangible. Before I asked her what I was, she told me herself. I'm pregnant. You're lying! I'm not lying. It's true. It's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a big lie! She has to divorce because she got pregnant. She has to get married because she got pregnant. That's a lie, it's a lie! I'm a Christian, so I can't get an abortion. He'll just have to accept it. Plus, we had sex with marriage in mind. He made me pregnant. If he changes his mind and takes no responsibility, it's going to be a big mess, you know? That was your plan, wasn't it? I overheard it. I heard the conversation you had with that man Ted-chan at the coffee house. I know you started seeing my father for his money. I know you call him your husband in Hinamizawa. I know he's just a big catch for you. I know everything because I heard it from Kasai. I know you do badger games, too. Oh, you knew? Well. Before I knew it, Rena was standing right in front of me. We glared at each other with our faces almost touching. So, Rena, you know everything, and what are you thinking you're going to do? Don't come near my father ever again. What if I refuse? You wanted to talk to me at your secret hideout, right? I kind of knew what you wanted to talk to me about. You brought me here, where nobody knows and nobody can hear, right? You're right. Nobody knows about this place, and nobody can hear us. Nobody comes here because it's a place forgotten. Our faces were so close to each other that our noses could almost touch. I knew what I was talking about, but I didn't know what would happen next. I couldn't back down now that I'd come to this point, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I should do. Come on, let's not do this. Let's be friends again. Rena started laughing and slapped me on the back. My expression didn't change and I kept staring at her. But I didn't notice her real intention of putting both her arms around my neck. Wow, opposite. Fuck. The tension broke, already stretched thin, and Rena squeezed my neck hard. I was openly hostile, but I didn't realize Rena's evil intentions until she started choking me. You little brat. I'm so close to getting millions of yen. If you at least pretended to get along with me, I would have given you a good allowance. But you just can't keep your fucking mouth shut, can you? You got some fucking nerve. Sorry, Nami. I'm having a hard time getting comfortable with this. A brat like you should just die. I tried to pry your hands off my neck, but I didn't have the strength to do so. I didn't want to kill you. But I'll probably never get as big of a catch as your father again. So, I don't mind killing you for millions of yen. I was going to disappear after I got that money anyway. This is what you get for talking back to me. The world around me got darker and darker. I had never known an evil intention like this, namely the intention to kill me. It didn't scare me though. That's because being scared is a feeling that people use to express how they feel when they see the wildfire on the other side of a river. People on the island with the wildfire, with their deaths right in front of them, they don't get scared. If I loosened my grip on her hands even a little bit, she'd crush my throat. This was a simple competition to see who was stronger. Rena wanted to get into the most advantageous position, so she tried to push me to the ground so she could mount me. If I let her do that, I wouldn't stand a chance. I tried to keep my current position, but I was losing a lot of energy by being choked. It was only a matter of time before Rena could push me down. I lost my balance on purpose. I tried to fall backwards in order to put her off balance. I couldn't hold my breath long enough to keep up the strength competition, so I had no choice but to take that chance. We fell on the ground tangled together. But as Rena was strongly determined to kill me, she didn't even take her hands away from my neck after she fell. However, my action made Rena loosen her grip on my throat. It wasn't loose enough for me to break free, but it gave me a few moments to use my hands for something other than from her stopping from crushing my throat. If I hadn't taken that chance, I would have been done for. That's why I tried to literally seize my chance. I moved both of my hands on the ground to seize it. I felt a pierce of broken glass on my right hand. This was truly my chance to save myself from the brink of death. I cut Rena's wrist deep with the piece of glass. Rena tried to endure the pain for a few seconds. But the pain that severe from someone so cornered soon broke her will. She let go of my throat, cling to her bloody wrist. I used that moment to roll away from her. Ah! Oh, it hurts! She screamed both in pain and also tried to intimidate me again. It didn't work anymore, though. Intimidation only works when the opponent is hesitant to fight. When you're already in the fight, screaming like that means nothing more than letting the opponent know how badly you're hurt. I no longer had any hesitation. I had learned from Rena. She taught me what to do in a situation like this. That's right. This is my secret hideout. I know every single piece of junk in here. Maybe I knew that a day like this was coming. Was it coincidence? I had pulled out a meter-long lead pipe. Not at all surprised to see it there. I raised it up high and brought it back down. There was no way Rena could block this hard and heavy lead pipe with just her arms. She'd probably try to block it with the palms of her hands in order to take it from me. But her long nails wouldn't let that happen. Unable to catch it the way she wanted, she broke her fingers and some of her nails came off. Her scream made me realize I had the advantage. An advantage I would keep. If I didn't, she'd turn the tables just like she did and choke me to death for sure. Stop! Stop! Wait! Rena shielded her arms, but it didn't help. All that would change is I'd break her arms before I broke her face. I'm serious. Stop! 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 Stop right now! Huh? What'd I do? I'm serious too. Die, die, die! You should die. That's right. I should have done this a long time ago. I didn't need proof. I didn't need to have to talk to anybody. That's stupid. Stupid. That's nonsense. I should have done this a long time ago. If I'd have done it a long time ago, my father wouldn't have been deceived. I could have protected him. I could have protected my family. I could have protected my life. I could have been myself. My mother wouldn't have divorced my father. I could have stayed happy. I wouldn't have had to been unhappy. I'm going to recapture my happiness. At this moment, I'm going to win back my happiness. I'm not going to cry for misfortune. I'm not going to give in to a fate of unhappiness. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to seize it right now with my own two hands. Rena tried to run away from me, but as she no longer had the use of her hands, it made it difficult for her to stand up, especially since there were scrapes of junk everywhere on the ground. Why does it keep doing that? After all, this is my hideout. This is my territory. Nobody can run away from me here. She tried to climb up the slope of the garbage, slipped, fell, and rolled all the way back down. She didn't stand up or move. Her eyes were open, and her neck was bent at an unnatural angle. I didn't know how to make sure she was dead, so I kept looking at her opened eyes for a while. She could be faking it for all I know. But she didn't close her eyes, no matter how long I waited. I scooped up a handful of sand and threw it on her face. She still didn't close her eyes. That The lead pipe slipped out of my hand and hit the ground hard. When I tried to pick it up, I realized how heavy it was, and I was surprised that I was wielding it as though it was a knife. I was sweating all over. The cold wind felt good on my skin. The cries of the Higurashi were calming me down and healing my soul. Rena was just like a broken dummy now. She had become a piece of junk. I am the owner of this land of junk, and I've defended it from her intrusion. Now she was a resident of this junkyard. I didn't feel bad about killing her. In fact, I felt rather fulfilled that I defeated the evil woman who deceived my father. I started breathing slowly and calmly, and I regained enough energy to analyze the situation. I'd have to hide her body. First, I'd have to get rid of her scooter. I climbed up the slope and kicked her scooter down the hill. It rolled down the slope, making a lot of noise, and blended in with all the junk as it stopped, like it was there from the beginning. I went back down the slope and started dragging her body to my hideout. It should have taken as much effort as dragging a 50-kilogram sandbag, but it felt lighter than that. It was just a sandbag, yet it brought disaster to my family. I didn't lure her here in order to kill her. Or did I? Maybe I just didn't notice that I had that intention deep down in my heart. But even so, I felt like this was the best and most expedient solution. There was no better solution than killing her. How wasteful to depend on someone to help me, to wait for the day to come when they will. I remembered the murder of Satoshi's aunt that happened last year. I had no doubt Satoshi murdered her, but I've never been as convinced as I am right now. How could he have saved Satoko, other than by killing his aunt last year at that time in that circumstance? My situation was much the same as his. How could I have saved my father other than by killing her? If I was planning a murder, I would have been put under a lot of stress. But for better or worse, the moment came to me out of nowhere. That's why I believe I solved my problem with the little trouble as possible. Now that she's gone, will anyone become suspicious about her disappearance? She was an irresponsible person who skipped work at her own convenience. So I didn't think anyone would get suspicious when she disappeared one day. She was a big mess from the start. People will think she went into hiding because she got deep trouble with someone. I didn't even need to fabricate an alibi. All I needed to do was get rid of her body. It took me a while to figure out how to do the last part. Hiding her body would be very risky. But my brain became so calm that it did some calculations and came up with an answer right away. This place is still the safest. This is a place forgotten. Nobody comes here. Nobody knows this place is here. I knew that because I've been spending a lot of time here. Compared to taking the risk of carrying her body to some other place, it was a lot safer to just hide it here. But it wasn't perfect yet. This place wouldn't remain a secret forever. I could hide it here for now, but I'd have to come up with the perfect way to make it completely disappear. It's a lot easier to think about that than thinking about how to make Rena break up with my father. I stuffed her corpse into a broken refrigerator and a trash pile. I wanted to cover the refrigerator with dirt and bury it, But that was too easy. I had to chop the corpse into pieces and make them completely disappear. I felt like it got dark all of a sudden. No, it didn't get dark all of a sudden. I just didn't realize it was getting dark until then. I could hear thunder from a distance. It might rain. I could use some rain. It washed Rena's dirty blood into the ground. I should go home. I should think about what to do tomorrow. I was going to stay right beside my father until he forgets about her. He might be hurt at first, but we're going to recapture our happiness for sure. Our happy, peaceful life. My body was heavy with exhaustion, but I also felt fulfilled because I took a very important first step today. I'll keep taking one step after another. I'm not going to cry anymore. I'm not going to cry until I win back my happiness. I'm not going to cry again. You don't need to get remarried. That was the first thing I said after I got home. My father looked stunned. He noticed the sad tone in my voice and realized I didn't agree with the idea of remarriage. He looked down.
I understand. I know how you feel, Rena. I should have talked about it with you first and...
That woman is lying to you about her pregnancy. Don't talk like that. Rena is... I'll tell you the truth. That woman and a guy called Taechan are a team of bad people. She went out with you only because she was trying to get our money. My father didn't get it right away, of course. He looked upset instead because I called her that woman. I should have chosen my words a little more carefully, but I think I told him the truth clearly enough. I told him everything I heard and saw at the coffee house. As I expected, he defended Rena anyway. I was upset, but at the same time, it made me certain there was no other way than to kill her. I felt the pressure on my shoulder lessen for some reason. My father thought he needed my approval for his remarriage, so he held back his anger and put on a fake smile instead.
Hey, Rena, let's sit down with a cup of tea and talk. I'm sure you'll understand once you hear me out.
A tamed animal is still tamed even after its owner is dead. That's okay. I'll open the gate anyway. Even a tamed animal will notice one day he's no longer in captivity. That's not something I could teach him. He had to realize it on his own. I couldn't stand his fake smile anymore, so I left the living room. Time healed the pain from the divorce. Time heals any kind of pain, just like how dripping water will eventually bore a hole through solid rock. I did what I could do. Now, I'd have to wait. But the day I was going to wait for came earlier than expected. At midnight on the following day, we had a visitor. It was that Taechan man. Tepe Hojo.
Wow.
Tepe didn't even knock on the door to get in. He broke into the house by smashing the window. At first, I thought he came here to ask about Rena's whereabouts, but I was wrong. The real reason was because of their plan. It was the last stage of the Badger game. Rena was probably supposed to be in bed with my father at that time tonight. Tepe must have wanted to show up and catch them sleeping together. Tepe looked around the house, but he couldn't find Rena. He didn't change the plan, though. He He grabbed my father by his collar and started yelling threats. He showed my father a certificate of marriage to Rena and shouted at him saying, "You've got my wife pregnant, how are you going to take responsibility?" My father had no idea she was married. He looked shocked. My father is a short guy who's faint of heart. He just let Tepe do and say whatever he wanted from beginning to end. I looked at them from a distance coldly. The more Tepe yelled and threatened my father, the faster he'd wake up from his bad dream. This was medicine for him. Tepe was cutting out the cancer that I was going to depend on time to do, and he was doing a great job of it. I waited to help my father until I was sure he had awakened from his bad dream. I told Tepe that I had something very important to tell him, and I took him outside.
So, what do you want?
Has Rena come back to Okonomiya since yesterday?
Huh?
As a matter of fact, she's hiding somewhere.
What? I don't get it.
Rena said told me to take you to her when you came to my house.
Huh? The fuck is Ritsuko thinking?
Tepe followed me without hesitation.
Jeez Louise.
We walked in the dark with the flashlight to the place where nobody comes and nobody can hear us. The place forgotten. He asked me many things on the way, but I couldn't answer any of them. I just told him to ask Rena. The way I said it seemed to make him think that Rena was going to betray him and get married to my father for real. Even though he was breathing heavily in a rage, he walked right behind me without any suspicions. I knew this day was going to come very soon, so I was well prepared for it. We reached the place where I originally planned to bring him, and I turned off the flashlight all of a sudden.
What? What's going on?
Everyone gets nervous when the only light in the dark goes off. But this is my territory. I don't need any light. I could feel my surroundings even better with my eyes closed. I grabbed the big hatchet I'd hidden in a bush, lifted it up high. I'm sorry. I guess the battery went out. Hold on a second.
Okay, hurry it up.
I purposely sounded weak and helpless while I raised the hatchet into the air.
Oh, I got a lighter. I'll just fire this baby up.
Tepe found a lighter in his pocket and lit it up. He probably couldn't understand the sight illuminated by that small light. He saw a girl lifting up a big hatchet right in front of him. Tepe's eyes went wide. He didn't understand what was going on, but he understood that his life was in danger. And yet, he must not have been able to think fast enough to deal with it, even though he understood what he should do. Even if he could think fast enough and block his head with his arms, it wouldn't have meant anything. I knew Tepe would come to my house eventually. That's why I prepared for the day.
Wait, isn't this the same day?
I just didn't think the preparation was going to bear fruit tonight. I chose my weapon very carefully. I planned when, where, and how I was going to attack him. And so there can only be one result. The hatchet cut deeply into his forehead. I felt an indescribable vibration through the hatchet when I hit him, and this told me I broke his skull. He bragged about how good he was at fighting at the coffee house. but he sure went down quickly when faced with a murderous weapon. He was done in by a single blow. Tepe slowly fell to his side with the hatchet in his forehead. He looked like a victim in a B-movie. I killed this big guy with just one hatchet. He was probably quite experienced in the world of violence, but I was better at him when it came to killing. Why? Because I've killed someone before. It's all done now. The bad people who deceived my father and tried to rob him blind are all gone. I did what I had to in order to protect my life. If I had this much determination when Mom told me about the divorce, I might have killed Akihito. If I did, I would have taken the life of only one. Because I couldn't do it back then. I've had to kill 2 people in the last 2 days. Rena, let's finish it. There's already a place to hide his body. I took care of everything. My hands were wet, so I shone a flashlight at them. I thought it was blood, but it was just sweat. Even so, it still felt uncomfortable, and shone the flashlight at my hands several times. I did all this in order to be happy. I did all this so I should be happy now. I tried so hard that I got blood on my hands. I wanted to get credit for that from him. Oyashiro-sama. Let me ask you a question. I can finally rewind the time back to the day where everything started to go wrong, can't I? I'm going to stay in Hinamizawa. I'm going to live happily with my father forever.
I'm trying to make Rena sound like a little crazy. So I have a thought right now, and my thought is do those 2 die no matter what? Because in the third book, Rena dies from the Sonozakis at the beginning of it, and then Tepe moves back with Toko and then dies via Keiichi. And then they both die in this one via Rena. So it's interesting. Also, I wasn't sure what to do because I was like doing her cute voice, you know? But I think I'm just going to make her sound like crazy and do the like, you know, cute little girl horror voice for her when she does that. Okay, so let's go back to Keiichi. It's interesting. This is an interesting chapter. It's very different than the other ones thus far. One having 2 main protagonists. Or having 2 perspectives. I mean, it's rare to see Rena sleep in class. She isn't the kind of girl who sleeps in class because of staying up so late. She had to be tired from doing housework or something. Everyone seemed to be thinking the same thing. Nobody tried to wake her up, not even Chi-sensei. She got up for a few seconds and went back to sleep. She swayed back and forth like she was rowing a boat. But she's in class, so I should wake her, right? I was about to wake her, but before my hand touched her, Mion gave me a sign not to. Let her sleep. She must be really tired today. So I'm going with the assumption that the Sonozakis know everything that happens in this town. So I'm assuming that Mion knows. I'm just going under that assumption because it seems like they know. Like, nobody was around when... Sorry, I had to sneeze. When they broke into the storehouse. And somehow they figured it out. So, I don't know. You're right. I heard a few days ago that Rena lives with her father. She studies during the day, plays a lot after school, and does things at the house after that. I didn't know that. I also didn't know her mother had divorced her father. Mion told me that, and she also told me not to talk about it because Rena is still hurt by the divorce. I didn't even notice she's been through such a tough time. Rena's the kind of girl who doesn't show her pain to others. She always looks happy and cheerful, but she might be acting that way on purpose. Rena told me that our happy days will once come to an end. She told me she knew that firsthand. What could she have been through? I had no idea. That's why she probably tried to spend his time as peacefully and cheerfully as she could. I must have hurt her feelings when I said I was bored of having happy days. When I thought about it, I felt bad of living off my parents who are both happy and healthy. For that matter, Satoko and Rika lost their parents too. Mion lives with her grandmother, away from her parents because she needs to learn to be the head of the Sonozaki family in the future. When I realized about that, I felt bad about my situation. You don't have to feel bad about living with your parents. Mion seemed to have read my mind. She said it with a cool expression on her face. A family is the most common community for kids like us to live in. But it's not the only community we have. You mean friends? You're right. Do you think we're as good a family as to Rena? Rena does cleaning, laundry, cooking, and shopping, so she must be tired every day. She could spend her afternoons taking naps. But she doesn't do that. She spends her afternoons playing with us. That means, how should I put it? That means we're her best friends. So you're saying we're friends with as much value as family? Mion looked stunned, as if she didn't understand what I was talking about. I didn't know what friends meant for you until today. But I believe friends are just as important and valuable as family.
It's actually very easy to understand.
Rika joined our conversation.
The important thing is to have people around whom you can feel comfortable. Sometimes you call them family, or sometimes you call them friends. It's just a matter of the word you use.
Are friends the same as family to you, Rika?
Yes, they are. I believe they are to Satoko, me, and Rena, too.
I guess that's why we always try to stay together. Do you ever feel lonely when you're with your friends?
They're my family. So I'm not lonely.
Mion nodded in agreement. Satoko was talking with her other classmates, but I'm sure she would nod as well. Rena would too. I'm a little embarrassed. Why? I've been using the word friends, but I don't think I understood its true meaning until today. Friends are more important and irreplaceable than I thought they were. That's like common sense. So you should take this opportunity to remember it. Yeah, I will. I also recommend that you don't say that again. Okay, you just said something really embarrassing, you know? After all that, Mion still made fun of me. I think I understand a little bit better why Rena was always so serious about having fun. I want to be her best friend, and I want to do my best to be deserving of her effort. Rena snored. It sounded cute. Chi-sensei let her sleep in class, but she couldn't let her get away with snoring. Class president, wake her up, please. Oh, sorry, wrong dialect. Rena, get up. Rena was still half asleep and made a strange noise. Everybody in class laughed. Rena noticed they were laughing at her, woke up right away and acted like she wasn't sleeping at all. It looked really funny and I burst into a fit of laughter. Outside the window, the sky was blue and the clouds were pure white. It was still June, but it looked like the middle of summer. This perfect weather wouldn't last forever. It could get cloudy and rain all of a sudden. That's why we had to play and raise a ruckus while we still had this perfect weather. The cries of the cicadas sound as if they were laughing at us because we still have classes left. Damn it! I can't wait for school to finish.
Kichi, you look very happy. Did something special happen today?
Nothing. Today is today. Tomorrow's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I'm just happy we have perfect weather today. I don't care about the weather tomorrow. I want to enjoy today as much as I can. When the weather changes, I don't want to regret I didn't. I learned that from Rena. I learned that peaceful days are the happiest days that you can have, and they're irreplaceable. Mion, what we're doing today for club activities? We need something very exciting for the punishment, too. That's the spirit I like, Kay. Because you insist, I'll put you through living hell.
Kichi, don't provoke her too much.
Hey, are you scared, Rena? I know you're better than that. Let's show our true power again. Remember what we brought to an end to our last battle? I grinned at her and she grinned back.
I do remember. Okay, let's do it then.
Rena, you certainly got me last time. For that, I must pay you back with interest. This is getting very interesting. It's going to be a blast.
I can't wait for school to finish.
I couldn't wait either, but the time we spent talking together is also very precious. Yeah. It would be nice if school ended soon, huh? Alright. We will. Let's do our tips real quick. Oh, whoops. Oh, shit. I didn't mean to skip. Who is talking? Who the heck is talking? Somebody who can drink alcohol apparently. Rika? Who is she talking to? Who is she talking to? Is she talking to Oyashiro-sama? It must be Oyashiro-sama because he's talking like he's a part of her. Alright, well, we're going to stop it there for today. I have to say that this chapter is not grabbing me as much as the last one was, for sure. Just because it's not, like I said before, it's not, I'm sure it will at the end, but right now I'm not really seeing the connection between, honestly, Rena and the rest of them. Like, her story seems completely separate. I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure that it's not. I'm sure that it's connected by the end. But right now, I just can't see how it's really connected except for, you know, Rena being Satoko's uncle's thing and that being one of the catalysts for one of the bad ends, you know? But, like, it's just weird because it seems like a different story. Like, we have the same characters, but it's like we're in a different story. It's strange. I'm sure it will connect. I'm sure it will. But right now it's very... Right. Anyways, I am going to continue streaming, but I'm going to switch to my PlayStation, and we're going to do... I haven't decided whether I want to do Outlast or Resident Evil, but we're going to choose one of those games to do. But I do have to stop streaming on my laptop here. My laptop cannot take much for too long. Maybe one chapter a night we can probably do. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please give me a subscribe there. You know you want to. I know this was a little weird. It's going to be weird while I'm getting used to this setup, but I will try to do a chapter a night at least, maybe a few more depending on how I'm feeling. And then we're going to stream on PlayStation as well. So I will catch you guys in a bit. Toodaloo!